talk to say I lost my mind. Got these voices in my head trying to kill my vibe. I keep falling back into these bad habits, but everyone just thinks that I'm so dramatic. So give me some peace. Got these chains on my heart that pull when I breathe. So give me some peace, cause I'm losing my flame, skipping heartbeats. I won't ever burn out, never too late, never too late. Don't let my candles go out. I don't care what you say, what you tell me I should do in my life. I'm about to go and say whatever you do, whatever you say. Don't let the candles go out. I'm on my knees, I need to pray. Don't let the candles go out.
Lithuanian, a land of music, magic and Germans. But behind the splendor of the concert halls and the discipline of the art of magic lies a history that would rather have been forgotten. When an ominous painting shakes public in the name of the Witch King, once again echoes through the streets, the past and present collide in a fatal way. Zwillingstürme im Herbst tells of lost memories, tragic art, and of an ancient legacy that has never been laid to rest, just like my credit card debt. First we got introduced to cast. We got Viviana, a more gentle and forgetful individual. She got expelled for being too thick, but now returned to gather clues of who killed her father. Then we have Ebenholz. Bro already suffered enough. Federico, or also known as Executor X Foedere. He's hot. Very hot. And cuts the slavery by 75%. With a shotgun. Lastly we have my wife, the one and only Arturia. She's a war criminal, but with good intent. She thinks that we all are held back by our emotions and feelings, so she loads her cello 57GX and causes people to do the things they desire, without fearing the consequences. Yeah, trust me, I can fix... No, she will fix me. Thus we start right into the first drama about a painting of an infamous painter called Frau Seemann. A mysterious girl was gaslighting her into not being able to finish her painting if she remains in her current mood, so she died. As Viviana investigated, she began to trip.
Intense, is it not? You can clearly feel what emotions Miss Seaman went through.
What?
Something need only be true enough to tug at one's heartstrings. Be it a picture or a melody, but please don't fear it. Feel it. It's her soul, her entire life that she's portrayed on this canvas.
Is there a connection between Frau Seaman and His Majesty?
His death changed this poor woman's life. She revered the man at the throne. She was in love with a symbol, a deity, which then fell right in front of her own very eyes. Most people are forever trapped in whatever fateful moment that changed the course of their lives, thus ending in an endless spiral. Just like your father. And you as well, Viviana.
Like myself? What?
Now completely in confusion, Viviana returns to Loris, who is very handsome and would definitely not be happening anything bad to him. Surely. Though Loris fears that, due to the information presented from Viviana, that Frau Seemann last painting is a declaration of the Witch King's followers? I see you thinking. Okay, but who is the Witch King? The Witch King was the Kaiser of Leviathan back in the year 1077. He was a tyrant, cursing his people for control. His heresy was so impactful that the Twin Empresses initiated the so-called September Revolution, which is, for all the non-German speakers, basically just means that they want to overthrow him. And now, 23 years later, in the year 11,000, once the celebration hits, it seems like the Witch King is about to return. Given these informations, the White Empress allows and invites Viviana to investigate her father, Werner's death, while the Black Empress tries to retrieve the dark legacies of the Witch King and seal them once and for all. To achieve that, she planned to summon a young Graf called Ebenholz, who was supposed to be escorted by Lessing Mayer. Ebenholz casually mistakes Lessing for a remnant that are hunting him down. Like I said, bro already suffered enough. While Ebenholz tried to get himself together, the executioner silently entered the Zwillingstürme. Federico Giallo has the mission to find and secure Arturia for committing multiple crimes throughout the last year. To get a grip of navigating this place, he asked Loris for assistance.
You must be Loris. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ach, no problem, mein Freund. If I can help you to find the criminal and get them out of Viviana, I'll do everything I can.
So, about this specific criminal.
Yeah, come, Hermann. I'm way too occupied to deal with the problems of the nobles, so I must...
You need to hear me out. She is no ordinary criminal. We need to find and arrest her the first chance we get.
Okay. We put them on the Prioritätenliste. You will need to stay by my side, though. Not that anyone else expects a stranger just to Sonntagslaufen around here.
Fine.
As Viviana tells Loris about the painting, Federico momentarily leaves his side to investigate some strange music nearby. Though it was Arturia, who now has Loris under her art's control. By hearing her beautiful tunes, Loris lost all regrets and reignites his heroic bravado. One thing that he wanted to stay out of, his heroic ego. He hears sounds of a fight in an underground. As he arrives to the spot where the sounds are coming from, he witnesses Ebenholz being attacked by the so-called Echoes of Herkunftshorn. The fight was intense and Loris was able to buy Ebenholz some time to escape, but as a result of his heroic bravery, Loris was petrified into a horrible statue by the remnants. 07 for Loris. The death of Loris has a great impact on Viviana, which makes her more dedicated to look into this case. Not only for her father, but also for Loris and everyone that were killed by Arturia's artifact. Brand, Cora and Viviana traveled to Frau Seemann's apartment in Marigold Alley to find more clues, though she was captured by some strange music. As she begins to hallucinate of her past, including her dead mother, Cora and Brand came in clutch and were able to get her to safety. Once they are at a safer place, Viviana comes up with an idea to take a look at the painting once more and use Brand's art to slowly peel the dark originum stains of it, as it might give some leads to what's going on. Viviana were correct. The painting shows a scene of when the rebels broke into the Witch King's spire 23 years ago. A highlighted man is visible, called Gerhard Hoffmann, a former attendant of the Witch King, who now is working as an university professor. The three suggest that he will be the next target, so they all go to Ludwig's Universität. While those two are on their way to the Universität, Ebenholz wakes up in the said university, capturing that Gerhard, Professor Fremont, and Lessing tried to extract the voice of terror out of him. After the three were bitching about who gets to keep Ebenholz, Ebenholz himself decided to go with Gerhard, which caused him to be locked up in an underground study. But oh boy, the fun is just about to begin. Who would have thought that Gerhard is actually evil and works together with the Echoes of Herkunftshorn, and they want to sacrifice Ebenholz to revive the Witch King. As Viviana and Brand arrived at the university, strange music began to play and the students began to attack each other. Of course, this is Arturia's doing. Even Brand is not immune to this angelic music. Viviana snaps his ass back into reality and they both try to calm down the students. Meanwhile, my girl boss is watching the chaos she created from the top of the spire, like the queen she is. She also seems to talk with the remnant's leader, the concert master. Lessing and Fremont charge immediately into the underground to rescue Ebenholz, but they are too late. Kinda. While the underground does split open in the Witch King's spire, the Genesis horn arises once more. The spire does get cut down by the Empress's sword, though the black fire that emerges still causes the death of many students. Speaking of Gerhard, he's not able to maintain the Herkunftshorn's arts. Therefore, he decided to take a trip to Hawaii. Federico also arrives, since he was following Arturia's steps very closely without getting caught. Together with the Empress Hildegard's help, they were able to put Arturia under arrest for her crimes. After the incident that happened in the Streamer University, Fremont was able to remove the Italian brainrot from Ebenholz with no issue. Since the danger is postponed, the Empress is focused on preparing the Kaiserinfest. Meanwhile, Federico is determined to fulfill Loris' last wish, to solve the case of his fiancée Julia Schüler's disappearance. On the investigation, Federico notices an piano which reminds him of Arturia. He is very certain that she might have bigger plans to what meets the eye. But now under arrest, Arturia is forbidden from playing any kind of instrument. Even her cello is disabled by other casters. Though Viviana takes this chance to secretly meet with Arturia to ask about her involvement with her father. But before we continue, I need to correct something.
He said it!
In the game they call it Güldengesetz, which is not a real word. Even the whole sentence makes no sense. Das Güldengesetz erklingen. What they mean is the so-called Das Goldene Gesetz erklingen, which basically means to treat others the way you want to be treated. So I would just call it the Golden Law from now on.
What?
Is it relevant for the law? Probably not. Was it triggering me? Very. Arturia makes clear that the death of Viviana's father is due to him protecting the Golden Law and being a natural-born counselor. Though she encourages Viviana to find the answer of the meaning of her life by herself. She makes some small hints that the Witchking's remnants might plan to use his legacy to break down the Golden Law by its core. So Viviana reunites with Federico, and they both go to Cora to try to convince her to stop the performance of the Golden Law. Is that even a performance? I mean, you just treat others like you want to be treated. Who cares, right? Anyway, Cora does agree with Viviana's request and guides her to the hall where the Royal Orchestra performs the score for the festival. As the festival begins with the performance of the Golden Law, the harmony is suddenly shattered when the Golden Law becomes corrupted by the echoes of Herkunftshorn, which causes everyone listening to the performance to suffer from severe headaches and migraines. Viviana confronts the leader of the remnants, who turns out to be Cora Löwenstein. She's trying to justify that she was initially being tasked by the Twin Empresses to act as the Remnant's concertmaster and lead those to their self-annihilation. Though with the death of Werner, she realized that the real problem goes way deeper. She realizes that the Golden Law, the eternal law which dictates the fate of every Lithanian, is the real problem. And she wants to use the Herkunftshorn arts to completely eradicate the Golden Law for good and free all of Lithania's people from its chains. Even though Viviana can understand her motives, she cannot allow her to go through with it. So she stabs her in the guts where Cora is dying slowly in Viviana's
I'm
arms.
sorry, but this cannot be the correct way. It's...
Sometimes we all need to do things that we self-seem beyond our moral.
You think that, do you? Just pick whatever suits your version of whatever this is.
So, you know it better. You, who doesn't even really know who she really is. How ironic. Truly, at least, I can die in the arms of a friend.
Cora.
This might be your one chance you can withdraw. I'll take all your deep cuts, I'll take it all. I am every mirror, you're just a wall. Even if I cry, you will watch yourself fall.
To our surprise, the betrayal of Cora is exactly what the Twin Empresses had planned, since they do also want to break the Lithanian people out of this curse. Thus the Genesis Horn is hanging in a dimensional crack above the Twin Spires. And the remnants? They get so excited of the Kaiser's return that they all went to Hawaii. I am not joking. The only thing they leave behind is the dust of their bodies. And a ghostly echo. Through the chaos created, Arturia takes the chance to escape the prison and climbs up to the top of the Twin Spires to approach Genesis Horn herself. But she was confronted by a very pissed Fremont, of which he cast a very special witchcraft spell called Exile to banish Arturia out of existence. Though right before he casts it, everyone who is not affected by the Golden Law is teleported to a different dimension that includes Fremont. They all wake up in a different dimension, which is called Kagurai, which roughly translates to barren land or Etherside in Arknights terms. It's a specific extra dimension that is in Lithanian specifically, and it's described as a place where life and death never existed. In other words, it's a torture cabinet for everyone individually. Some experience shadows of old Lithanian buildings, some need to navigate through a maze to face their inner demons. For Ebenholz, his inner demons are not the realization that he is facing the Witch King. He is not the infamous tyrant, at least not at this time. But the Herkunftshorn slowly guides him to see his nightmare has never been the Witch King himself, but rather the fear imposed by the other people, fearing for the Witch King's return. His fear of an long-past Kaiser made him a fool, who was not able to sever his fear to what could happen. This time it's different. He cut the ties that bound him, cut the Witch King out of his life. Thus the maze he was trapped in disappeared. Viviana has to face her fears too. These manifest in illusions of her past self, but also those illusions are versions of herself with every possible future she could have had. Though all of these possibilities disappoint her. After navigating through the illusions, she recalls of the story called The Last Night, a tale she once admired and helps her remember her identity, her determination to become an extinguishable light that breaks the adversity. Once she calmed her mind, a blazing spear appeared in front of her, with the emblem of the House Nerl. Thanks to the spear, she splits the darkness open and forges a path to escape the illusions. Federico and Arturia both meet Julia Schüler, the missing girl which Loris has been searching for. Julia talks about a lot of things, but what caught Arturia's attention was that within the Kagurai is indeed the Witch King's spire. And this spire is, as a matter of fact, a void bubble created by the Kaiser's arts. Arturia makes her way to the Witch King's pavilion, where she bows before his majesty in hopes to get an answer for her long-stalled question.
Your Majesty, I am hesitant to know. Will you help me to archive a better future? A future where people possess flawless egos. A future where everyone has a shared like mind, regardless of race, wealth, or social status, that could overcome even the most horrible circumstances. Yes, a future where everyone is at peace and the suffering comes to an end. A future where everyone can express themselves freely.
How very interesting. Your view inspires me. Though, I must ask, how much do you mean your words? Mrs. Arturia Giallo, the way you act, you treat your art, is the furthest from the future you describe. You lack the understanding that is needed to actually materialize the future you desire, which the only thing you can do is take control of the people. You preach to fulfill their dreams.
You must be kidding. Your Majesty, my ideals and way are of no error.
The way you react just proves my point. Now, go.
While Arturia is questioning her ideals for the first time ever, Federico gets told by Julia that she is not really dead. Not in a literal sense, to be exact, since her soul lives forever in the Kagurai. So Federico tells her about Loris' death and his last wish. Just as they want to part, a shockwave hits Kagurai that shatters Julia's soul completely. At this time, not only Arturia has learned something she never felt, but also Federico, maybe for the first time ever, felt emotions. The shockwave was no accident though, since the twin empresses cut through the dimensional rift to have a final rematch with the Witch King and end him for good. The final fight was intense. The twin empresses used all their might to finally make an end to this tyrant, and his omnipotent fear spread through Lithanian's people. The battle is won. The Witch King's soul slowly vanishes, and Fremont just shows up from nowhere to cast exile on his dying soul, causing his haunting shadows to permanently be erased from this world. Though the Kagurai starts to fall apart, since the Witch King was its host, and without the host the dimension created is falling apart. Fremont sends everyone to reality again, except himself and the twin empresses, as they hold the line to hold back the army of demonic creatures rising in the falling Kagurai. Arturia and Federico are one of the first to come back into reality, and they witness how the people of Lithanian turned into mindless husks due to the collapse's physical power. Federico quickly came to the best conclusion.
Arturia, quick! Use your ego manipulation arts. It's the only way to counter the effect of the Kagurai collapse.
You think so, brother?
I don't think so. I know so. Listen to your heart. Do you feel it?
I feel it.
Are you used to hiding your wounds? Are you used to running from your own truth? Are you used to thinking your secrets aren't see-through? But how long can you last if you're searching for peace? Let yourself breathe. If you yearn to be free, just wear your heart on your sleeve.
With Arturia's newfound understanding of her own feelings, and that they don't restrict her but rather makes her to the person she is capable to cure all of Lithanian's people's heart from the corruption, while the twin empresses still clash in the Kagurai. Sadly, one has to stay to prevent the Kagurai from fully causing havoc. So Empress Hildegard sacrifices herself, just that Empress Lieselotte and Fremont can escape safely. As the rift closes and Empress Lieselotte descends from the now again clear sky, the shadow of the Witch King and his effects on the people of Lithanian is finally vanished, once and for all.
I shall perform a song for the desperate crowd, and the subject of the ego shall be I!